Welcome back, my music friends. This week in the Breathing Gym, we're going to continue to focus on steady beat and keeping track of those beats by counting while we breathe. I also want us to keep focusing on lung capacity. So we want to make sure that if we're breathing in, we're breathing in all the air we possibly can, and then breathing all of that air out until we're completely empty, following that steady beat. Our metronome is set to 72 beats a minute, so let's begin with 4 in, 4 out. 1, 2, ready, begin. In, out. In, out. Count on your own. And relax. Take a second to shake the body out and get ready for 6 in, 6 out. Remember, 3 should be our halfway point. Pay attention to what it feels like to be completely empty. Feel what it feels like to be halfway full. And pay attention to what it feels like to be completely full. 6 in, 6 out. 3 is our halfway point. 1, 2, ready, go. Breathe in, out. In, out. And count on your own. And relax. Shake it out again. Get rid of that tension that you feel in your body. Right now I've got a big old knot stuck right in my left shoulder, so I'm trying to get that to release. All right, last one. 8 in, 8 out. 4 is our halfway point. Make sure you're keeping track of all those beats. And again, concentrate on lung capacity. What does it feel like when you're empty? What does it feel like halfway? And what does it feel like when you're all the way full? Whatever that number is. All right, 8 in, 8 out. Here we go. 1, 2, slow the air. In. And out. In. And out. Count on your own. Take a big breath in through your nose and loud sigh out. Ah! And shake out the body. Shake out the tension. Move the neck gently. Shake out your shoulders. Shake out the arms and the wrist and the fingers. Shake out the waist and the hips. Shake out your legs. Shake out your ankles and your toes. And let's get ready for some Rhythm Bible. 2 weeks ago, we learned exercise number 4, quarter notes and quarter rests. We learned that we either say ta on each note or we count them using a number system. So let's do that right now, starting with ta. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ta, 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 ta. Did you remember to make a silence on the rest? If you didn't, you can try again when we count these out. So counting is pretty easy with quarter notes. The first quarter note is quarter note number 1. The next one is quarter note number 2. The next one is number 3. And the last one is number 4. Continue that pattern. Remember, don't say anything on that last rest. Here we go. Let's count using the numbers. Exercise number 4. 1, 2, ready, count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last week, we learned exercise number 2, the half note and half rest. We learned that the half note gets 2 beats of sound and the half rest gets 2 beats of silence. And we have to really pay attention to what that half rest looks like. We have the line that the rest is on, and then the box part of that rest sits on top of the line, much like the box section of my half rest hat sits on top of the brim. So when we have a rest that looks like a hat, then we know we have a half rest. Counting half notes, we can say ta, right? 2 beats of sound. Ta. So say ta every time you see a half note. Give 2 beats of silence by pumping your hands twice whenever we see a half rest. Let's do that together. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. Now, the counting of half notes. The first half note is going to be starting on beat number 1. And because it's 2 beats long, it plays or sounds through beat number 2. So draw that arrow. That means the next half note starts on beat 3. Why? Because beat 1 and 2 are taking up here. That means this is beat 3. And because the half note makes sound through beat number 4, we draw that arrow. Okay? This half rest starts on beat number 1, but we don't draw anything there because we're not making any sound. The half rest is silent through beats 1 and 2, which means this half note starts on beat 3. This is beats 1 and 2, which are silent. This starts on beat 3. Just like this half note that starts on beat 3, it plays through beat number 4. Okay, next measure. This half note starts on beat number 1. It's 2 beats long, so it plays through beat number 2. This half rest starts on beat 3, but we don't write anything because we're silent. This half note starts on beat number 1. It sounds through beat number 2. And this half note starts on beat 3, and it sounds through beat number 4. So let's try counting using the numbers, and you can use your hands to keep track of the silent rest. Let's count. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3. This week, we learn the whole note and whole rest. If you look at a whole note, it looks a lot like a half note, but the stem is, the stem is no longer there. A whole note gets its name because it makes sound through the whole measure. So when we count a whole note, we need to make 4 beats of sound. Kindergarten through 2nd grade, you're going to say ta, ah, ah, ah. Say that with me. Ready? Go. Ta, ah, ah, ah. Now, blend those sounds together. Listen. Ta. Your turn. Ready? Go. Ta. All right. The whole rest looks a lot like a half rest, but look where it is on the line. We said a half note sits on top of the line like the hat sits on top of the brim. A whole rest is upside down. So we have the line, and then the box on the bottom is a lot like the hole that we now see in my hat. Or it looks like a hole in the ground. So if we have a rest that looks like a hole in the ground, then we know we have a whole rest. The whole rest gets its name because it makes it makes silence throughout the whole measure. So we have to keep track of 4 beats of silence. What do you think we're going to do? Yeah, we're going to pulse our hands 4 times. So, ta. Let's say this rhythm with our metronome. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ta. Ta. You'll start to notice that it's a lot like the breathing gym. We have to keep track of those beats as we make that long sound. Let's try it one more time using ta. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta. Ta. Now counting whole notes is super easy. The whole note starts on beat number 1. So we draw a number 1 underneath it. It makes sound for 4 whole beats. So it makes sound through beat number 1, through beat number 2, through beat number 3, and through beat number 4. This whole rest starts on beat number 1. But we don't say anything because it's silent. And we must be silent for 4 whole beats. The next whole note starts on beat number 1. And it makes sound through all 4 beats. And again, this whole rest starts on beat 1 and it is completely silent through those 4 beats. So as you're thinking the numbers in your mind and making the sound, you're going to start the sound on beat 1, then you're going to stop the sound on beat 1. Start the sound on 1, stop the sound on 1. Let's try it together. 1, 2, counting, go. 1, 1. How did you do? Did you make any mistakes? Let's try it one more time. I'll track the rhythm for you. You say the numbers. 1, 2, ready, go. We now know quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. Next week, we're going to start mixing them together to create more interesting rhythms than just 1 note value per line. So if you are having any questions over those 3 note values, come visit me during office hours so we can practice them together. Until then, let's move on to our next lesson. Our learning target is I can demonstrate beat and rhythm by creating rhythm patterns and performing them with a steady beat. Our success criteria is I know I am successful when I am able to create a rhythm with my name and say it with a steady beat. Today, we have a speech piece called Name, Name, What's Your Name? A speech piece is like a song in that it has a steady beat and uses rhythms, but we don't use our singing voice because a speech piece does not use pitch. The vocabulary words for this lesson are beat and rhythm. Beat is the regular pulse felt in most music. When you're listening to a song and it makes you want to start moving and grooving, that's the beat. It's a thing that we feel, much like our heartbeat, and not necessarily something that we hear. Could you imagine listening to the sounding of the thumps inside your chest all day? But we can feel our heartbeat. One way is to take these 2 fingers and place them across your wrist. This is the same way that a doctor checks your pulse when you go in for a checkup. Now, the easier way, at least for me, to feel my pulse is to take those same 2 fingers and press them gently on your neck in the squishy part right behind the curve of your jaw. If you press your fingers behind your jaw, you should be able to feel the steady beat of your pulse. If beat is the thing that we feel in music, then rhythm is the thing that we're actually hearing. Rhythm is the pattern of long and short sounds and silences in our music. Sometimes those sounds can sound long, like ta, 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 ta. Sometimes those sounds will sound short, like teep, tee, teep, tee, teep, tee, teep, tee. And when we combine long sounds and short sounds, we get those interesting rhythms that we hear in music. Tee-ta, tee-ta, tee-tee. Let's listen to the speech piece, Name, Name, What's Your Name?
Name, name, what's your name? Say it now, we'll play a game. Say it high, say it low. Any old way, but don't be slow.
Now, with a metronome, let's analyze your name. How many syllables do you have in your first name? Do you have 1 syllable, like Joe? Joe, 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 Joe. Or do you have 2 syllables in your first name, like Pranav? Pranav, 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 Pranav. Maybe you have 3 syllables in your name, like Marisol. Marisol, 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 Marisol. Or maybe you have a very tricky 4-syllable name, like Elizabeth. Elizabeth, 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 Elizabeth. Try saying your name 4 times with the metronome. 1, 2, ready, go. And stop. Let's draw a 2-measure ostinato. Before we start drawing, you need to have a piece of paper, a straight edge, and something to write with. If you don't have those right next to you, pause the video and go get them. If you're ready, let's begin. To draw a rhythm, we need to start with a rhythm staff, which is a lot like the staff I had you draw before, but a rhythm staff only has 1 line. So we'll start there. Draw 1 horizontal straight line with your straight edge. At the end of our staff, we need a final double bar line. Remember, that is a skinny line followed by a thick line. I always like to start with my thick line first. There it is. And then put my skinny line right next to it. Like that. Now we need to split this staff in half. So find the middle point and draw another bar line. And that's it. There's our 2-measure rhythm staff. I'm going to draw a couple more so we can analyze our names. Okay, now we're ready to add our rhythms. So this top staff, by the way, look how nice they look when you use a straight edge. So make your work nice and pretty, makes it a lot easier to read. Sorry, back on track. We have the top rhythm. What if you have a 1-syllable name, like Bruce? You're going to draw a half note on that line. What if your last name is Wayne? That's a 1-syllable name. So again, you're going to draw a half note. Like that. Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. What if you have 2 beats in your first name, like Peter? You're going to draw 2 quarter notes. 1 quarter note, 2 quarter note. What if your last name also has 2 syllables, like Parker? Again, draw 1 quarter note, 2 quarter note. Peter Parker, Peter Parker. What if you have 3? Now, when we get into 3 syllables, there can be 2 different ways to say it, like Wolverine. Notice all 3 syllables are close together. Wolverine. You're going to draw a TT, or 2 eighth notes, followed by a ta, or a quarter note. Now we'll give you that 3-syllable Wolverine. But what if your 3-syllable name has a space in between some of the notes, like magneto? You're going to draw this rhythm backwards. You're going to start with the ta, or the quarter note, and finish with the 2 eighth notes, or the TT. Look at the difference and listen to how they change. This one is Wolverine, Wolverine, Wolverine. This one is Magneto, Magneto, Magneto. We put them together, we've got Wolverine, Magneto. Wolverine, Magneto. Something to listen for as you say your name. All right, what if you have 4 syllables? Like Teenage Mutant. You're going to draw all eighth notes or all TTs. TT. They're getting sloppy. Sorry. That's a little better. Teenage Mutant. What if your last name is Ninja Turtles? Again, those are eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's try out all of our names with a metronome. 1-syllable names with our metronome. 1, 2, ready, go. Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne. 2-syllable names, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Peter Parker, Peter Parker, Peter Parker, Peter Parker. All right, 3-syllable names. Remember, there's 2 different ways to say 3-syllable names. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Wolverine, Magneto, Wolverine, Magneto, Wolverine, Magneto, Wolverine, Magneto. And the last one, 4-syllable names. And here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a syllable mouthful. Why do I keep saying 4-syllable names are tricky? Well, let's take a look at this example. I cheated a little bit by using Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because in the word teenage, the emphasis or the downbeat of the word is the first syllable, teenage. And the same thing with Ninja Turtles. The downbeat happens at the beginning of that word, Ninja Turtles. Here, the downbeat of the word Elizabeth is not on the but on the Liz. So when we say the name Elizabeth, the emphasis is on Liz. So if we write the rhythm like we did for Ninja Turtles, and we push this rhythm over so that is the emphasis, we're going to end up putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. So what we have to do is create a pickup note. That puts Liz right on the downbeat. So if we start that metronome, we would say the name like this. 1, 2, ready. Elizabeth, 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 Elizabeth. And that will put the right emphasis on the downbeat. It's tricky. So if you're saying your name along with the metronome and it's not quite lining up, chances are the first syllable of your name should be a pickup note. And that's the rhythm you should be working with. All right. Let's say the speech piece, name, name, what's your name, together. When we get to the end of the speech piece, let's add our first name, last name, ostinato. That ostinato is going to happen instantly after the word you say slow. So be ready, don't forget what your name is. If you pay attention to the words in the speech piece, they also tell you to say your name high or say your name low, any old way, but don't be slow. So you can get creative. Use a high voice. Use a low voice. Use a loud voice. Or a quiet voice. But don't slow down and don't speed up. Stay on that steady beat. It's a lot to handle. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, begin.
Name, name, what's your name? Say it now, we'll play a game. Say it high, say it low. Any old way, but don't be slow. What's your name? Say it now, we'll play a game. Say it high, say it low. Any old way, but don't be slow.
For the last part of this lesson, after this video is over, you're going to need a piano or a keyboard, or you can use the Musicca Virtual Piano. A link to the virtual piano can be found in the Seesaw instructions as well as in one of the slides in your student response section. Look at the pattern of black notes on the piano. We have a group of 2, followed by a group of 3, followed again by a group of 2, and again by a group of 3. This pattern continues all the way up the piano. All of the white keys directly to the right of those group of 3 black keys are known as the B key. Here we have a group of 3, and there's the B. A group of 3, and there's the B. A group of 3, and there's another B. For this activity, we need 2 Bs, a high B and a low B. The note on the right side will be your high B. And the note on our left will be our low B. The instructions say students play high B, low B, low B. If you're on a computer, you can use a mouse to click on those notes, or you can use the computer's touchpad to move the cursor and then click on those Bs. If you're on a tablet or a phone, you should be able to use the touch screen to tap on the keys that you see on the screen. Play the high, high, low, low pattern as you say the speech piece, name, name, what's your name? Do not worry about trying to go as fast as the recording. Go as fast as you feel comfortable, like this. Name, name, what's your name? Say it now, we'll play a game. Say it high, say it low, any old way, but don't be slow. The most important part is that you keep that steady beat. When you're comfortable playing the high, high, low, low pattern with a steady beat on the Bs, try the same thing using As and Gs. Again, make sure you're keeping a steady beat throughout the entire speech piece. I hope you enjoyed experimenting with beat and rhythm. When you're done playing the piano, make sure you come back to Seesaw and click on that green check mark to complete today's activity. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, take care, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.